when the pessimism began. There wasn't any pessimism before then. Nothing out of the ordinary. But anyway, we're in the midst of more than a decade-long streak of pessimism about the state of the country. Partisanship's at an all-time high. No, it's not. And the media have splintered. Twitter, blogs, Facebook, so on and so forth, in 1,000 directions all at one time. Damn it, we don't own it anymore. We don't dictate anymore. All these people, everybody's a journalist. I thought I used to do something special. I was a reporter for the Washington Post, and now everybody has a Twitter account, and I don't count for beans. It is so bad Obama can't govern. Washington Post. Whining is not attractive. Complaining, whining. I don't know how to deal with whiners anyway. Do you? I mean, I literally don't know how to. No, I'm serious. Well, maybe I laugh, but I mean, internally, I don't know how to deal with them. Anyway, Cillizza says, just we're in this month-long or a decade-long streak of pessimism. But you see, what we have here, the mainstream news media pining for the days when they had total control over setting the agenda. That's what he means here. Facebook, blogs, Twitter, so on. There's so many people out there who do what I do, and they all have readers. You know, writing at the Washington Post used to mean something. I know how he feels. You know, back in the days, not making an excuse for him, but I say in my line of business and work, back in the days when it was just ABC, CBS, NBC, you got a job at one of those places. It was special. There were only 3 places you could work. And then CNN came along. It was different. And Cillizza's not old enough. He wasn't part of the monopoly. He remembers it. But back in the day, it was the 3 networks, the Washington Post, New York Times, and that was it. That maybe Time Magazine, they determined the news agenda. And it was that was attractive to all these guys, get into the news business, and now they're in the news business, and they look at the golden age, not as now, but way back then. They're really offended that some jerk can type 140 characters on Twitter and get more attention than somebody with a byline at the Washington Post or the New York Times. It would irritate you, too. And we also have, I think, understandably, because Chris is young, but there's a total ignorance of history. You know, up until the 1970s, even small towns had a couple of newspapers, sometimes more, and there were a variety of political views. Liberal mainstream media's total control over the flow of information has been a relatively recent and short-lived phenomenon, but it existed, and they longed for it. And the partisanship of it's so bad, like it's so partisan. One reporter asked the president a question. Stop and think. And it was the news all weekend. One reporter asked the question. That's partisanship? How many reporters were at that press conference? That little announcement. It wasn't a press conference. It was a little announcement of how, hey, you know what the Constitution means to me? President Kardashian strode to the Rose Garden. Here's what the Constitution means to me. And one reporter asked a question, and we're told there's too much partisanship out there. The partisanship of today is just as strong as it was during the days of Nixon. Do you see the press trying to drum this president out of power? Well, they did during Watergate, and in their minds, they succeeded. They hated Nixon. I'm the new Nixon. They're trying to drive me out of business. Oh, so grab audio soundbite number 3. I have to thank Sarah Palin. She was at the Right Online conference, the right-wing bloggers and so forth, that met out of Las Vegas over the weekend. Americans for Prosperity put the thing on, Right Online, and she was the keynote speaker. She touched on a lot of things, including this.
Look at the big kahuna, the fearless leader of some of us ditto heads, Rush Limbaugh. Look what they try to do to him with he being the center of these massive campaigns to try to silence him. And I think of Rush when my girls and I were trucking down the road in our truck, and radio's blasting, and Kelly Clarkson's song comes on, and I think of Rush when it says, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." These yahoos out there doing all that they can to try to get Rush to sit down and shut up, they're making his point every day with the double standards and the hypocrisy, and he just comes back stronger and stronger and more credible because they make his point for him. What a gig he's got. Just let him talk.
Right on. Sarah Palin. Thank you, Governor Palin. That was at the Netroots. No. Netroots is left. This was the Right Online. Our guys in Las Vegas over the weekend. So, but the partisanship of today, Nixon, Reagan, I don't know if you were alive or if you're paying attention. They hated Reagan. Every press conference, it wasn't one Neil Monroe, it was all of them. And we just found this 87 AP story. Newsbusters dug it up. They did it on purpose to make Reagan look like he was out of it when he refused to answer the questions. And by the way, Cillizza's here. He's worried. Oh, let's go back to the beginning of his piece here. Lost in the chatter about whether President Obama will win a second term in November is an even bigger, an even more important question. There is something more important than whether Obama will win? Who knew? That question is it possible for a president, any president, to succeed in the modern world of politics? I want to point out to you that even during all this partisanship back 70s and 80s, Nixon, reelected. Reagan, reelected. Clinton, tons of partisanship during the Clinton year. They even impeached him. Clinton, reelected. They all managed to accomplish things in their second terms, including Nixon, despite the news media's best efforts. They all governed. But now there's so little faith in Obama. That's really what this adds up to. There's so little confidence and so little faith in President Kardashian. Now Halperin wants a truce. Cillizza says, oh, no, it's so partisan. I don't think anybody can govern. Obama was special. He was better than anything. This guy makes the sea levels fall just by showing up at an apple orchard. I'll take a break here, folks. Be back and resume right after this.